Good morning, welcome back to my channel. This morning we're going to be talking about Humbl stock, and we're going to be pretty much talking about the B shares. And I know there's been a lot of, people defending the Humbl's position on having the B shares, and a lot of people are really upset about the B shares, but let's just take a look at how this all plays out with the B shares, and we'll take a look at the numbers. But anyways, the market cap of Humbl right now is somewhere around 600, a little over 600 million, maybe not even. But anyways, the stock is trading right around 70 cents a share. So what you have right now is probably somewhere around 880 some odd million shares of Humbl. So let's just say there's 882 million shares of Humbl stock outstanding right now. Okay, so Brian Foote has come out, the CEO of Humbl, and said that he is not going to convert any of his B shares until after December 2022. So that gives you a whole nother year and 2 months before any of his shares are converted. However, he only owns about 40% of the B shares. So you have the other 60% that are held by Humbl insiders, employees, and family members, or whoever has the B shares. They were given out, as a special thing there that some of them have. So what he said is these B shares, that these people are committed, they're only, starting at, and it can start this year, I believe, that they'll only be able to convert 1% of the B shares each quarter. And everybody's like, this is great news, this is great news. Well, let's take a look at the numbers and see how great this news actually is. So if you take 1% of the B shares each quarter, that gives you 4% of the B shares that can be converted to common shares in 1 year's time frame. Now, I don't have a calculator in front of me, so we're going to just do this math off the top of our heads here. So there's 500,000 B shares outstanding right now, 500,000. So 1% of those is 5,000 B shares. So you take those 5,000 B shares, multiply it by 4. There's 4 quarters in a year, so that would be 20,000 B shares. Each B share can be converted to 10,000 common shares. So you take your 20,000 B shares that can be converted in 1 year times 10,000 common shares, and you have 200 million B shares that can be, you have 200 million shares that are added to Humbl stock. And people are saying this is great news. How in the hell is adding 200 million shares? That's massive dilution. Now imagine there's no end to this. That's only 4% of the B shares. If they do this every year, this could go on for 25 years before it even stops. And where does it stop? So to me, this is no deal. This is a deal breaker. I don't see how anybody could think this is a great deal with Humbl having these B shares and saying that, if the insiders only convert 1% of them per quarter, that's a good news. That's terrible news. The whole B shares, this whole thing is just, it's a mess. So that's my take on Humbl, and you can look at these numbers yourself. You can do the math yourself. All you got to do is figure their market cap, figure the share price that it's selling for today. That gives you the shares that are already in Humbl. Then you take your 500,000 B shares. Each share can be converted to 10,000. 1% of the B shares can be converted each quarter. That's 5,000 B shares that can be dumped into the market and sold off. And you get 10,000 shares for each one of them. That's massive dilution, people. That means at the end of the game, there's over 6 billion shares, or around 6 billion shares of Humbl stock. What do you think that's going to do to the price? anyways, that's my rant on the Humbl. That's my Humbl update for today. But you can take it however you want to take it. But you know, I'm just exposing the truth. So, all right, there y'all have it. My take on Humbl stock and the B shares.